Welcome to the Making Up the Numbers podcast. The Making Up the Numbers podcast is sponsored by Hope Technology, J-Tech Suspension, Revolution Bike Park, Ride Southern Spain, Schwal, and the world's finest independent mountain bike magazine, Singletrack.
Once again, Snowshoe delivered the most epic season finale, possibly even eclipsing 2019 for the drama, because this time, the women's race was even more dramatic. And it really was winner takes all, as Loic and Vali took the wins in the final round, and in doing so, both won the series as well. Jack, it was breathless watching at home. What was it like actually being there?
Yeah, it was really exciting, to be fair. I mean, I didn't get to see the women's race because I was getting ready for my own race. We knew something was going on because it was a red flag, but like we were warming up and stuff. Yeah. So we missed out on that excitement. But yeah, the men's was really exciting, and Loic just showed how world class he really is by producing that at the very end. So yeah, it was nail biting to the finish.
He just has the mental strength, and he's got the head game.
Oh, you can just eclipse anyone, can't he, at the moment? When it comes down to that, you're always going to put your money on him.
Yeah. When you've been like world champion multiple times, when you've won the overall before, it must take the pressure off, because if you don't perform that one time, it won't affect your standing in the sport. Like, you can want it too much, can't you?
Yeah, there's certainly an element of that, isn't there? I mean, he's won world championships 5 times. He's won the World Cup overall once before, Snowshoe, and now twice. Yeah, it's probably a little bit of maybe a different kind of pressure, but also it must just feel easier to do it because you've done it before. So, whereas for someone like Loris, like, he clearly struggles with that kind of pressure at the moment. So maybe if he does get one behind him, that'll change.
I think that's the thing. I think once you get one, that must really help you move along.
Must do, because it's unbelievable to watch.
I did a quick list of people who'd had a great season, and I think if you finish in the top 3 women, I think if you finish in the top 5 in any category, you've had a great season. But the top 3 women, Vali, Miriam, and Camille, all had a great season. I think it was Tani and Marine next, and I don't know if by their standards they would say it was a great season, really. So I thought about the top 3 women. The top 5 men, like Thibaut, Loris, Troy, and Reese. And then in the women's, I added Eleonora and Millie Johnson, because Millie's come on loads this season, hasn't she?
Yeah, for sure. She got that one result behind her, and I think when she did, she put a post on saying something like, "Finally, I didn't crash" or something. Yeah. And she's a lovely girl, Millie, and she's always smiling, and it's nice to see her getting some good results, for sure.
And she got red flagged twice.
Did she really?
Yeah, she got red flagged in both the Snowshoe race runs.
I didn't know that.
And the second race, she was absolutely flying, and it was the girl you talked about before, Jessica Blewett, is it, who crashed at the bottom, and really hurt herself. I think she's still in hospital now, so get well soon, Jess.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so she had to go up and do it again, and she laid down another great run. So fair play to Millie.
For sure.
Then in the men's, obviously, Greg winning Worlds, you can't fault that. He did another great season. Benoit's done great. And there's a couple of people I spotted that have overperformed. David Palazzari and Dylan Levesque. They've been top 30 all season. Do you see those guys coming through? Are they? I don't really know much about them. Are they experienced racers or?
Dylan's fairly experienced. I know both of them. I know Dylan better than David. David was one of the guys with me at the top of Val di Sole 2 years ago when we all qualified in the top 10.
Right.
And I think he finished 15th or 16th in the race. So that was the first time I became aware of him.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's fast for sure. But Dylan's been around for a while, and it's nice to see him have a solid season.
Yeah, and there's some good youngsters coming through. Tuoto Ariki Penn, and I thought Henry Kerr did pretty well. The second half of the season, he really came on. And
Henry's a really good rider, and as a junior, he was kind of overshadowed by Thibaut. But I think he finished second at a couple of races, maybe even in the overall, I can't remember. So it's nice to see him starting to, push the pace after he's finished his university, because he's got an engineering degree, Henry, and he's been focusing on that. So, shout out to anyone who's racing at a high level and able to do that alongside it. I know how hard it is. And then the Kiwi kid, I saw him getting the results in the winter, and he's looking really strong. So he might be going places.
And finally on the list, Dan Slack. What a year!
Yeah, he's had a great second half of the season. Really, it was a disappointing start for him, and he was really struggling going into Maribor mentally. And it was a blessing that we had that European champs there the week before the World Cup. He loves that track, and it just gave him time to settle. And I've said this to a few people, taking away the top 10, he's had 34th, 39th, and then the 47th in Lenzerheide would have been a better result. It was the rain that cost him that. And that's a really solid set of results in the first elite season. You add in the 20th qualifier in Snowshoe, and then the 11th qualifier in Maribor, followed by the 10th finish, and you're looking at some really, really, really good results. So we're already excited for next year, and he's got a bright future for sure.
Excellent. So then I drew up a list of kind of people who'd had one to forget. And I was drawn to teams rather than individuals for this, because some teams just really didn't manage to do it this year. Starting with Common Sal 100, Greg Thomas and Hugo. There's been some injuries there.
For sure, lots of injuries, lots of disappointment. It was nice for Tomo to finish with a good top 20 result in Snowshoe, and he looked like he was riding like his old self. So that was nice to see.
Yeah, Madison Saracen. I know Matt won't be happy with 17th after winning it last season and not getting the win he was after. And Veronica had a bit of an unfortunate year with injuries. Jordan's done really well though, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Jordan's been a bit of the talk of the pits, really. It's, he could be one of the next big things. He's certainly got the ability, and he's a very, very committed and keen racer. I know his dad quite well now, and he just lives, eats and breathes it. And it's exciting to see. It's going to be him and Jackson next year as second-year juniors is going to be one hell of a battle. And then you've got Don Platt, I believe he's a first-year junior next year. Yeah. So he's going to be coming in, ruffling some feathers. And
you can see that, can't you? He's winning his category here in the UK by 8 seconds. And
he had a good elite time at Fort William. And if you can, winning his category and getting good times at Hopton and Bridgewood is, whatever. But you go up to Fort William, which is a World Cup track, and you do it against lads like George Gannicott, and I think Fergus Lamb was there. And, that shows that he can do it. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Norco, Blanky, Lucas Cruz, Henry Fitzgerald and Elliot Jamieson. I don't think they've had a decent result.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen much content about them. I haven't seen much of anything, really. When I read it, I was like, oh, yeah, that team is there. So
yeah. And Scott as well. I know Marine got 5th in the overall, but no men in the top 20. Is it contract year for them, do you reckon? It's been together quite a few years, that team, hasn't it?
Sure. I know that Flo and Dean have had injuries. So there could be some changes going on in there. Again, with this industry, it very much depends on how much the management and Scott like the riders.
Yeah.
If they really like the riders and they're happy with stuff under the tent, they won't really care about the results. They'll want to keep the house as is. So,
and there's so much that we don't see, isn't there? Riders, they could be really pretty badly injured and trying to keep going.
Dean's been rough with injuries for sure. So,
and finally, another one that's injured. Intense haven't had a great year with Aaron not being able to do all the races.
Yeah, and I'm sure Nico had an injury or two. And Seth's had his first year in elite, so obviously he's qualified a couple of times, which is good. But for a factory team like that, they've got to be disappointed with the season.
Yeah. And I'll mention yourself. You have. I know this is all right to mention because you've posted it on socials. You haven't had a great season, have you, Barrio?
Did I race this year? I've forgotten all about it.
So the question I had for you was because of the 2020 thing, didn't they wipe the UCI points? So pretty much anybody could go race this year.
I'm not sure. I got a bucket load of points at the World Cups last year. So this is the first year in 11 years that I've finished a season without 40 or more UCI points. I've never had to chase points and never finished a World Cup season without them. So it's a strange feeling. going to Snowshoe, I didn't really want to race, but my only goal personally was to finish with 18 points because I already had 22 points because I already had 18 from Euro Champs. So if I'd finished 50th and 49th in the 2 races, I would have got the points I needed. And what's annoying is without the mistake in my first one and without bending my pedal in my second one, I would have done that. So that was pretty frustrating because I was certainly battling against the odds. I went trail riding yesterday with 2 of my friends and they couldn't believe how bad I was riding and how slow I was. And they were like, how the hell did you qualify in Snowshoe? And it's simply just mental strength, I guess, that kind of got me through it. Because my hand is still really painful. But yeah, I mean, finished the World Cup series with 9 points and I've got 18 from European champs. So I've got 27. You need 40, but you need more than 40 because in my opinion, there's not much point going to a World Cup without being in Group A. If you're having to get up at 8:30 and finishing practice at 11:15, you're usually going to be on a wet track, especially somewhere like Lords. And then everybody's going to go out and practice in the dry. So, you know, the odds are against you. So I'll certainly be finding some races in the winter, but that would be part of my prep anyway. If COVID gets bad and we don't have any races, I'm not even sure if I'd go to Lords, thinking about it. I've never had to wear a jersey. I don't think I want to wear a jersey. So I'd maybe delay the start of my season and find some points and get my pace and then reset at Fort William. But I mean, as I said, it's a position I've never been in. So my body is just broken at the moment. Tried to go in the gym the other day and what I can do is just so limited because my shoulder is just so restricted in movement. So yeah, it's shit, but this is the sport we do. We know the risks. We know what we sign up for. And I've had a few good friends ask me if I'm going to carry on. And to me, it's just a ridiculous question because there are hard times in anything. Yeah. And why the hell would I stop just because I've had a bump in the road? Like Saturday at Snowshoe was one of my favourite days on the bike ever because of the crowd. Like, I was just having so much fun. I was finally able to keep up with Dan. I had good top splits, not good top splits, but like okay top splits for the situation. I think I was 38th and 48th or something at the first 2 splits. And I had a big smile on my face. And it reminded me why I do the sport. And like, even though I was kind of half the person I normally am on the bike, it was still like, wow, this is it. Yeah. So I just want to get back. And I'll be doing everything I can to be back. So.
Yeah, I know you've not had the best time personally, but it's been such a good season, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's like I've said this before, and like I kind of have 2 personas, and the one is the athlete one, which it's just been massively disappointing. But the other part is the coach and team manager. And I was thinking about this, like it is potentially one of the best seasons the team's had with the results Dan's had. It probably rivals 2017 when I went to Worlds. So yeah, like what a success for the team and what a success for Dan and what a success for me as a coach and a manager. So yeah, we're on that side of it. It's just mint and we can't wait for next year.
Cool. On to this episode then. Just over a year ago, we interviewed 2 young guns on the pod, Vali Höll and Thibaut Daprela. They'd both just had standout junior seasons and were heading up to elite. And what an adventure they've been on. This season alone, they've had more ups and downs than your average theme park. And we're going to be chatting with them both, starting with the Elite Women's 2021 World Cup overall champion, Vali Holl, after these messages. I just introed you before the ad break as the Elite Women's 2021 World Cup overall champion, but you won't have heard that. So we'll do it again. Vali Höll, Elite Women's 2021 World Cup overall winner. Welcome back to the pod.
Sounds crazy, huh? Thank you.
So we should probably start by telling people that this podcast was scheduled to be recorded before the final 2 rounds in Snowshoe. But due to my day job getting a little crazy, we rescheduled. And what a different podcast it would have been. I know you've stayed out in Snowshoe for a few extra days and literally just stepped off the plane this morning. Have you stopped celebrating yet?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of sad after Snowshoe because after the cross country, everyone left. So it was pretty empty up there. And I'm actually happy that I'm back home now. So I'm seeing my family for the first time after 3 weeks and starting to celebrate with my friends.
Cool. Let's go back a bit then, because last time you were on the pod was around this time last year in our World Champs preview show. And we all know what happened there. Seeded first and then a huge crash on the morning of the race, broken ankle, torn ligaments, the whole shortened 2020 season written off. Then came a winter of recovery, including 2 operations. I believe that was your first big injury. Was it harder to get over mentally or physically?
I think the thing was that it was actually pretty exciting because it was also news. It was like first time I had surgery, like first time was rehab. But I guess if you have to do it more often, it kind of gets pretty boring. So like the recovery was fine. It was actually okay. I mean, it was my first one, so I can't really compare it to any other injuries. But I was actually shocked how hard it was mentally to get over the fear of jumping, because I still struggle with it actually.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's if you've done that, I'll come on to it in a little bit when we get to talk about Leogang, about the jump down there. I'll let Jack take over the next bit.
So how long did the physical recovery take? And when were you first back on the bike after the surgery?
So I got surgery like a week after my crash in Leogang, and then I was like 2 months, Monday to Friday in the Red Bull Rehab Center. That was pretty cool because, I mean, we had lockdown anyway at home, so there was nothing to do. And I just stayed from Monday to Friday out in Salzburg, and they took care of me. That was pretty sick. I mean, I had physio sessions 2 times a day, which is crazy, and that 5 times a week. And then I had training sessions, nutritionist, mental performance coach. So they really took great care of me, and it helped me a lot. And then I was actually already back on the bike in January, but that was actually a big mistake because I was so slow and my ankle was so stiff. And then I went to Madeira in February, and the riding was just not really good. And then I decided to have a second surgery to get all the metal out because I just couldn't move my ankle.
Okay. And you also switched teams in the off season, moving from your personal deal with YT to the RockShox Trek race team. I mean, let's not beat around the bush here. You must have had quite a lot of offers. How many people approached you?
It was crazy. I mean, it started already 2 years before my contract ended with YT, and it was for me it was a big shock because I felt I'm only racing junior, like who cares? And then like so many big teams called me up, and all my heroes are in those teams, and then it was actually really, really hard for me to decide what I'm going to do. Like on the other side, I could have gone to a full factory team where my biggest idol is, but then I need to give up all my personal sponsors I've worked with the last 5 years who supported me from day one on. So that was actually a really hard decision, and it took me quite a long time to decide where I'm going to go. But I think going with RockShox and Trek was actually the best decision. I think so.
Nice. Has it been a big change? Has it taken you a long time to adapt from the program you were on to the new program, or is everything quite similar?
No, it's actually quite similar. I mean, I think the most important thing for me was to stay with SRAM and just the whole infrastructure they have. They have the big racetrack, and we know we will get parts no matter what. And then obviously working with Matt, my mechanic, I've been working with for the last 4 years, and it's always good to have someone you trust. And I mean, it always worked out perfectly. And I mean, now we're trying to get more people involved. And I think the first year in a new team is always a bit hard because you need to, dial in the people, and everyone needs to find their groove, what their position in the team is. But I think for next year, it looks already better and smoother. But I mean, it worked out this year, so it's fine.
Nice. Did you find it difficult switching bikes? Because obviously you'd been on the YT your whole life. Was that a big change?
It was hard, but also I think I was like coming back from my injury, so my riding really sucked, and it was so hard to feel good on a bike, and I was like super scared. I actually started testing the new track with the mallet setup, but I just couldn't handle it, and every time I was jumping, I was coming so nosy, and I think also it was because just my little brain fuck I had from jumps, and like nothing worked out, and I was actually like getting a bit stressed that I'm not getting on the bike well. And then I was talking to Matt quite a lot, and then we were deciding that we're gonna stick with 29er for the season to make it as similar to the YT. And then during the season, we actually changed quite a lot to make it better. And for sure, this off season, I'm going to try the mullet because for my size, I think it's the best.
Yeah, well, you've completely answered the next question, which was, are you still running 29 and do you plan on moving to the mullet? So I'll hand back to George.
So onto this season then. Leo Gang, back to the scene of the crime. How deep did you have to dig to hit the gap that you did your ankle on?
Oh my God, it took me so long. Actually, I wanted to do it like before the World Cup was coming to town, just to have like no pressure. And then the problem was the jump was always closed or it was like too muddy. And put a lot of woods in front of the jump that no like Joeys can actually go there and kill themselves like me. So they only opened it for the race. And I was like, damn it, now like everyone is going to watch me and the pressure is actually on. And I mean, I remember I didn't do it on the first day and I jumped it on the second day, but the conditions were actually kind of the same as when I broke my ankle. Like it was super slippery. The in run was a bit better, but not really much. It was still like quite slippery. And it took me 2 days of practice to finally do it. But I was so relieved after that because, I mean, I crashed there in October and all I was thinking about it was the jump until I finally hit it in June. So it's a long time to think about one thing.
Can I ask you said you did it on the second morning, or the second day. Was it first run? Was it you were going up there going, right, I'm just going to do it? Or was it, no, I need to look at it again?
No, I was actually doing it second day. Yeah. So the last run before quali. So the quali was like the second time I hit it. So it was stressful.
It's funny. I remember walking that jump when I was helping down at World Champs. So obviously I didn't ride it and I'm scared of heights. So like standing on the edge of it was like, I can't stand on the edge of it. Simple as that. It makes me sick.
It's scary.
When we walked the track this year, I like walked to the edge of it and just went, nope. And just kind of turned around and I couldn't do what I would normally do and like look at it and size it up. So, because it was just, it's massive. Unless you stand on the lip, you don't get a scale for how.
Yeah, I think people don't see.
They have no idea.
How tall it is.
The drop into the gully is huge. And first run, I just had to follow down into it because I was like, I can't.
Yeah, just close your eyes.
Yeah, and then when you hit it, you're like,
it's fine.
Is that it? Because you just whiz off the takeoff and land on the line.
Yeah, exactly.
But I can verify it's massive and it's really scary.
So can I just ask, you know that you said you did it in the run before quali. Did you do a stop before that? Did you stop before it or was it a full run?
No, actually the massive crash the corner before. So, and I was like, okay, if I'm not going to do it today, I won't do it the whole week. And I was just like collecting myself. And I mean, I know I can do it. I mean, and then I went for it and it worked out perfectly. So
I was just wondering if you got like halfway down your quali run and thought, shit, I can't feel my arms here. And I've not done the jump on a full run before.
No, it was good because I knew like the previous year I did it as well. So I think I'm fitter than last year, so it should be okay.
So you seeded first. You were first or second every split heading for your first World Cup win. And then in the final section, you lost it on a pretty innocuous section of track. Talk us through what happened.
I think I already finished the race before the race was actually finished. I hit the road gap and my run was super clean and I knew like it would be a good one. I didn't know that pom-pom actually crashed, but I knew that the run is good for, I mean, I didn't expect to win, obviously, in my first elite race, but I knew that it was really good. And I heard the crowd and suddenly I was on the floor.
It's your local track. How many times have you ridden that corner before and have you ever crashed on it before?
Actually, that corner you never ride because normally you take like the stone wall down the Hollywood section and you don't take those weird corners before. So maybe I think at World Champs we went the same way, no? So maybe 10 times.
The contrast though with what happened to Miriam in Snowshoe, crashing on a section of track where no one expects you to, really. That kind of, when I was thinking about this pod, I thought that's quite a comparison for the seasons you've had. You still managed second place. You were only 1.4 back on Camille. Was the confidence dinted at this point? Because, you've just finished second with a crash. Were you still pretty happy?
I actually wasn't happy at all, because even when I finished the race, I didn't even know I was second. I didn't really, I didn't care. I was second. I was just so pissed about myself to throw it away.
I remember
and then,
now.
Mid-season, I was like, I should have been actually a bit more happy about my second place, because I'm actually not getting on the podium at the moment.
I remember seeing you cross the line, though. You were really angry, weren't you?
Yeah, I was super angry because it was so stupid, like a proper rookie mistake.
Yeah. Well,
but then I did a second one in Leger, so.
Well, that's where we were going, on to Leger. You seeded second. Sorry, I'm just going to start again. Somebody called me and it closed my screen. You'll have to just edit that out, George.
Yeah, no worries.
Distracted the hell out of me. You guys have gone now. There we go. Okay, sorry. On to Leger. You seeded second, and this time you crashed in the final corner. But it wasn't your best run up until that point, was it?
No, I feel like the whole weekend wasn't really cool for me. Like when I arrived, I wasn't really stoked to ride my bike, and it kind of went on until finals day. I had huge troubles to hit the road gaps and stuff. I was super scared, which was hard to take, because normally I was always one of the first girls to do the jumps, and I only did it the last day and Saturday, one run before the race. I finally hit the road gaps and stuff, and I just didn't feel really comfortable. And I mean, the race run wasn't that great. I think even without a crash, I would have been maybe fifth, if so. So that was like a weird start to my kind of bad week riding, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Did you like the track? I mean, it was a strange track, very technical, and then very gnarly features.
No, I actually really enjoyed it. I just don't know why my riding was so bad. Like my self-confidence was just really, really, really bad, but I can't wait to get there next year, because
nice.
I actually like the track a lot.
Cool. So Maribor, you seeded first and ended up sixth. After crashing at the previous two World Cups, were you just literally playing it safe, or?
Yeah, I was playing it safe, but I was actually pretty surprised that I didn't even get on the podium.
Yeah.
I was super surprised that it was that slow. Not slow, that the girls went so much faster.
Yeah.
So I thought even if I don't crash, I should be on the top 5, but apparently you're not nowadays. But it's sick to know, because the level is just getting so much. The level is so much higher than it have ever been. So even if you chill, it's not sure that you even got on the podium. So it's nice to know that. So I'm always going to push a bit more now.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on from Maribor, did your strategy then change? Did you kind of stop chasing wins and podiums and just try and do your best?
Yeah, I mean, I just stopped thinking about the podium, because luckily my qualies were always really good. So they kind of saved me from having a shitty race run.
Yeah.
And then next up was World Champs. I qualified first, and I don't know, I changed a lot on how I approached the racing, the weeks, and I was just way happier. Like, I enjoyed it being back at the races, and I just had more fun and did what I like to do. I went out for coffees with the girls and like hang out with my friends, and not only like sat in the pits, did my training, and then went back to the hotel room and sat there alone. So I actually enjoyed it being at the race. Yeah.
Nice. So again, you seeded first, but then in sector 4, it looked like you kind of unclipped, took a dab, you hit one of the course poles, and then boom, you had the crash. What happened there? Were you pushing too hard, or was it just fatigue?
I think like fatigue, stupid mistake.
Yeah.
The track was really tough, and I think I did a bit, too many laps, I guess, during the week, because I actually really enjoyed the track. So it was actually like super nice to ride. So I did many laps and it felt good, but then, once it's too late, then you don't really recover anymore. So it was, my splits were really good up to pom-pom. I wouldn't have won, but maybe top 3. So the crash wasn't that nice. I bruised my ribs and stuff, so it was a bit hard to race Lenzerheide, but it was good to see that my speed is up there again, and that I actually do better on like more technical tracks than like fast ones.
Yeah.
So I remember someone, you mentioned it before about qualifying first every time, or qualifying really well. I remember someone messaged me wondering if you might have doubts about the bike or anything, and I said, well, I doubt it, because she's qualifying first every week. You know, I'm sure she's getting on pretty well with the bike. Let's pause for a minute here. It wasn't really going to plan. I probably wouldn't have asked you this if the season hadn't turned around so dramatically, but was there a low point? And if there was it after Maribor or Val di Sole or somewhere else?
I think the lowest was Léger, because I crashed 2 times in the last corner, and I had a concussion and I couldn't ride my bike for 3 weeks, and I was really, really unhappy about my life. Like, it didn't really work out, and I think I just put way too much pressure on myself to already be good in the first 2 races in my first elite season. So I think after Maribor, I was just like super surprised that even if I don't crash, I still don't get on the podium. So that was a bit like, okay, like what's going on? I'm missing the train, I think. But I had a really good training week with a friend, Noah Karem, and she helped me to be happier. And I was back in Val di Sole and back up to speed.
Cool. We talked a little bit at the top of the show about pressure, and you've just mentioned it there. You said it was pressure that you were putting on yourself to win. You've got Ben Cathro videos saying everyone's saying she's going to win. We're talking about it on the pod. Are you aware of all that? And does that add more to it, or is it like I think Greg said on the podcast that it's just the pressure he puts on himself that's greater than anything else?
For sure. Like, obviously I see everything that gets posted, and when I get tagged on Instagram and then see the messages from the people, and like every time I had a bad race, people were like, yeah, next race you're gonna win, and then the next race I didn't win, and I'm like, yeah, it doesn't matter, next race is the one you win. It's like, yeah, guys, just say next season, huh? Wouldn't that be better? Give me a bit more time to actually improve. And it's tough. I think I just expected way too much of myself, and it was hard because I got second with a crash in Leogang, then I won Crankworks, so I was like, oh, okay, no, this is easy. Like, I'm gonna show them how it's going, but I didn't show them at the beginning.
You mentioned when you were in the Red Bull Rehab Center, you had a psychological coach to help with the mental aspects of racing. Did you continue with that throughout the season? Did you use that to help you with the struggles?
I think the last time I was spoken to them was when I was there for my concussion, so after Léger. But actually I was just tired about talking how bad I feel. Like, I just didn't want to think about it, how shitty I feel at the moment. So I just stopped calling them, and they didn't reach out to me because they knew that, you know, if I don't meet them, I would not, get to them. So it's somehow like with the help of the friend Noga, it turned out actually pretty good. Like, it's always cool to have a friend who has such a is so supportive and has a really cool and happy mindset that like infects you as well. So I think I changed a lot from Leogang to now as a person. Yeah,
that's really cool. So we believe you've been using Tracy Mosley and Cecile Ravenel as mentors. What have they been helping with, and how much help have they been?
So Cecile is doing all my training. So she's kind of my coach, and I've spent the winter with them and ride with them a lot. And it's kind of cool to have Tracy and Cecile, because Cecile is like 100% badass. Like, she always says, switch off your brain and go full gas. And then you have the other side, Tracy Mosley, where it's like a bit more calculated and like not, I wouldn't say more professional, but like maybe, thinks a bit more about stuff. And I think to have both sides kind of next to me I can find the perfect mix. And I think that's what I had for Snowshoe and Lenzerheide, actually.
Yeah, sounds really good. We commented on the pod that you learn a lot more when things aren't going right. What's the biggest lesson you've learned this season, apart from not crashing in the next corner?
Good one.
Can't say that.
I think it's hard for me to say because I never had to learn, or I never had the chance to learn when I was junior because it was always going perfect. So yeah, I mean, now this season I had 4 races where I could finally learn something, and it's hard because it's always live on TV and everyone sees it. They see your mistakes, but it's good because I could learn a lot from it, and that's why I guess I could handle Snowshoe a lot better than maybe last year. But it's crazy to see Pom Pom crashing 2 times, even though she's 10 years older than me, you know. So it's hard. Like, do you still make the same mistakes even you have way more experience? It's like,
Yeah, this was something I wanted to come on to. It's very easy to forget that you're still only 19 and the journey you've been on this season, it's like a whole career in one season. I do some guest lectures at universities and schools on entrepreneurship. And one of the points I always focus on is that vulnerability sounds like a weakness. But vulnerability is actually a strength. If you put yourself out there, if you make yourself vulnerable, if you do anything that puts you in a position where people can judge you, and you know they're going to be talking about you, they're going to be talking about you if it goes wrong. That gives you such inner strength, whether it actually goes wrong or right. And you've been doing this in front of millions of people on Red Bull TV. Do you actually feel stronger mentally now than you've done before?
I would say it was kind of hard for me to accept it that people like tell me what I did wrong. That was actually quite hard for me to accept that we were analyzing my mistakes, and at first it was like pissing me off because why do you tell me I'm shit? But no, I mean, it helped me a lot because now I know what to do better, and I guess you just get older. And you learn from it, and you just get wiser, and you appreciate it when people tell you what you can do better. And I think I learned how to cope with it during the season a lot better. Yeah.
If it's any help, people have been telling me I'm shit the entire time I've been racing, but I've not got any better. So Lenzerheide, that was the race where you set the fastest time of the day as a junior, and I sense coming into it you had a little bit of a different mindset.
Lenzerheide was just I was so over it with crashing. I mean, Vali Höll was the third time I wasn't on the podium in a row, and that I just wanted to be back on the podium and celebrate. And I didn't expect to win. I was like, I just want to be top 5. If I'm 5th and I get a trophy to take home, that would be so sweet. And then I qualified 3rd and got 3rd in finals. It was a super clean run and was nice. It was nothing crazy. And I was finally super happy and relieved that, with a run like this, it's a 3rd place run and it's nice.
Yeah.
So coming into Snowshoe, where were you sitting in the overall? Can you remember?
I was 4th coming into Snowshoe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was the mindset? Had you written the overall off?
Yeah, totally. I mean, the 1st place never, ever came into my mind. It was so far away from me. And I was like, well, because after Lenzerheide, Tani grabbed my 3rd place and I got 4th. And I was like, it would be cool if I get the 3rd place back. And I didn't really think about 2nd either. I was just like, okay, if I can end the season, I was not really already signing the season off, but I was like, okay, if I get 3rd, I will be happy, and then I can go home and sleep and rest and restart. And
you just set new goals, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense for sure. So in race 1, Miriam had the fastest 3 sectors, and then it was her turn to crash in sector 4, and you took your first World Cup win. How did that feel?
I must say it didn't really feel like a win because I know Pom Pom would have smoked me. It's always hard to say, okay, if someone crashes, I mean, you still have to go down without a crash to win a race. But she was just way faster in general. And I knew that, if she's not crashing, she would smoke us anyway. And I mean, I was still super happy to finally win my first World Cup. I mean, it's crazy. I didn't really expect it that it would happen. And I mean, there were still Marine and Tani and Kami who could have gone faster than me. So yeah, I was super stoked, to be honest. Yeah.
Nice.
So after that snowshoe race one, I took you out of my fantasy team because you just won your first World Cup. You're probably going to be a bit hungover. Practice starts the following day, and psychologically it's a lot to take in. But the Vali Höll I saw in that second race, the way you were riding, it was like a completely different rider. Body position, attacking the track. You looked very, very confident. Did the wind take the pressure off? Did you feel different?
No, I finally was like, okay, now I can actually show them how I can ride.
Yeah.
Because I feel like my riding was kind of the same when I started in Leogang, and then it just got worse. So worse and like safe and like weird and scary and not cool. And then I don't know, like I did qualies for the second race, and my goal was I didn't pedal at all the sprint sections because I just didn't want it to start last to have the pressure on.
Yeah.
And because we didn't get any points, like didn't really matter. So fourth place was super sweet, like zero pressure, and I just went for it.
And you're in the hot seat. What did you know? Had you done the math? What did you know what you needed to happen to win the overall?
I think because I was going out with on the last practice run, I went up the lift with Kami, and then she was like, yeah, if you go faster than me, you can be second. And if I go faster than you, I'm second and you're third. And that was the only thing I was thinking. Yeah, maybe I could go second. Like that would be actually pretty sick. But I had no idea what has to happen to get even first. And as you maybe saw on the TV, I had no idea what was going on.
It's crazy. Who was the first person to tell you? Who did you? Oh, not who was the first person to tell you? Who was the first person you believed?
It was actually the stadium speaker.
Yeah. Like
nobody knew what was going on. Sorry, the phone.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was funny because nobody knew what needs to happen, or like nobody was sure actually. They were like, yeah, we think, but we're not sure. We don't know. And then like the UCI guy wasn't there, and like we had no idea what was going on. And then like it felt like ages until someone finally said, yeah, we confirm Vali Höll won the overall tattoo one. That's just so crazy. I'd
put on Instagram what needed to happen in the men's, like if it for Loris to win, for Loic to win, for Thibaut to win, what needed to happen. I'd never even looked at the women's because I just didn't think it was going to happen. So I didn't.
Yeah, me neither.
Nobody knew. Well, I think that closes the loop because you've just literally got back from Snowshoe. What have you been doing out there since the race?
No, we did some secret testing. Yeah.
You got a big family dinner tonight?
Oh, yeah. Big family dinner, big party at the weekend. Yeah. I hope I get some sleep in, but it doesn't look like so.
And what does the off season look like?
Yeah, lots of traveling. I go back to the US actually in a week to watch Rampage and go to Sea Otter and meet some sponsors. And hopefully I can spend the winter down in France at Cecile's place and annoy her and get some tips how to go faster and turn my brain off.
Well, the women's category is insanely strong right now. Have you got any words for your competitors for next season?
Yeah, I think it's just gonna be even more stressful. I hope I don't get gray hair next year already.
Well, thanks for making the time to come on the pod. Congratulations on the wins and congratulations on the overall. Enjoy the off season. You've certainly earned it. We'll be back with Thibaut Daprela after these messages. Thibaut Daprela, welcome back to the pod. Tell us a little bit about where you are and what you're up to right now.
Yeah, so hello guys. Thanks for having me. And yeah, right now I'm at home in the south of France and sitting in my bed or in the sofa all day long because the leg is a bit painful for the last 2 days. So yeah, just doing nothing and just seeing my doctor to try to be better. And I see him again today to see what's going on and check if the surgery was good, doing well by the Americans, and checking the terms also. And yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're on the mend. And what a 12 months you've had. First, this time last year, it was your first year elite in 2020, and you absolutely smashed it. 3rd and 10th in Maribor, and then 6th and 7th in Loser. Ended up 5th in the overall. You must have been really happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I was really stoked. We begin with the World Championships, and I did a good quali. Then I was fast in the final, even if I crashed, and the 10th with a crash, I think. Yeah. So I was, feeling good. And then Maribor was waiting again, and I think I like when you're training because I trained all the winter, like the winter for my first elite year. I trained a lot for that, because it was not maybe my best quality, and it worked pretty well, and I did some good results, and even at Losa, I did, as you say, 7 and 6 or 6 and 7.
Yeah.
So for physical track and like that, it was really good. Oh, qu'est-ce que tu fais?
we got a guest.
She's welcome to join us if she'd like.
It's okay. Nobody watches it.
Yeah.
So when did you start testing the new bike?
So I started trying the new bike in March or April, really late actually. Yeah, March. Yeah. At the end of March or beginning of April, something like that. I don't exactly remember, but when everybody was going to the Comensal track in Spain, we tried at this place the first time ever. And then we do it a lot of testing because, it was a brand new bike. It was really good, since the first time we tried, but you need to improve everything. When you start from scratch, you need to do everything.
And how different is it to the old bike? Does it grow in the travel the same way?
Like completely different, like the old bike, we were at the edge of it, we cannot do anything else to be faster. And we were just too much on the, I don't know how to say, but on the edge of every time we were just trying to adapt the bike to each track. And now we have the same bike on almost the same setting for every tracks. That's why it's working really well. And the old bike is a really, really good bike, but it was a bit sometimes going front, you can see some riders is just doing like that because it was this bike, and now it's just like, and everything is better on this bike. No, to be honest, really, it's impressive. And Excellent. It helps me a lot to be faster, I think, this year.
Did it take a lot of getting used to? Because you changed to Fox as well, didn't you, this off season?
Not to be used to, but just to make it as we want it. And to be not too used to the bike, but used to the way it's working. As it's a really different bike, we were the first few months, we were like, maybe it's that fast because he has not the same feeling. I don't know how to explain it, but it was really, really good. But you don't have any feelings to be fast on this bike, because it's really calm and in the lines and everything, because the other bike is a bit crazy, so you feel you're going fast, but sometimes you're not. So this bike was really different. We just need to, the most getting used to was that. And as you say, for the Fox suspension, we ride them before having this new bike on the old bike. So when we put it the first time, it was, even if it was stock suspension, was amazing. So no problem to be used to that.
Excellent. 2021 then, what a season. Leo Gang, 3 seconds up at the first split. The only rider to do this crazy double on one of the jumps on the long straight. I think that ended up costing you time, but still, it looks impressive. Then you went low in the lower woods, didn't you? And that was that cost you a couple of seconds at least. You crossed the line 1.2 up and ended up second to Troy. You really came out to make a statement this year, didn't you?
Yeah, so, I love this track in Nurgang, and last year I knew I was really fast at the top, and this year was and I know I'm fast when it's steep also, so I knew I can make sometimes a bit everywhere and just trying to not lose time as I did last year, like in 2020 in the bottom. Sadly, I did it, but it's like that,
Yeah.
So the first few splits,
I just give everything I had, and I push a lot without taking too much risk, but just when you're feeling good, you're going fast. And even it's the same line for everybody. I don't know how I did to have this time, And yeah, as I push a lot, I was already tired, and that's why I jumped this triple, because I just did a mistake about everything, with the sun and the gray floor is, you can't see really well where you're going. And as it was really fast also, and I just pull up something bad, and I could have died, on this one. And then I was just trying to recover in the woods, and I did this mistake because last year, I went inside in the steep section, and it's where I start to lose the foot and crashed a few meters after. And this year I say, okay, even if it's slower, I'll go left. Yeah. And I knew I can make time at the top and after, but it does not work for this time.
So I'm writing
the mistake.
I'm writing a review at the minute of a season review for Singletrack magazine, and the one image of the whole season that stays with me is your entrance into the woods in Leogang, because everybody who came down before, they were struggling with it. There was people they were challenged by it, but you made it look so smooth. I think it made me go wow when you entered those woods. Were you conscious that you were riding, that you were doing that?
Like for the entrance, you have a big right grass corner.
Yeah.
And everybody was struggling at the practice, and even me, but I work a lot to be fast on this one because I knew it was one of the key corners in the track. So I just need to be confident in this corner. It's what I did, just didn't touch the brake at all and just trying to go as fast as I can because I remember all the routes where they were. And, sometimes when you just don't touch the brake and let the bike roll, it's feeling better, but it's a risk to do it. But if you just train for that, maybe sometimes it works.
Yeah, you've not done yourself justice there, really, because it's not a grass corner; it's a rutty corner.
Yeah, exactly. But
higher, wide ruts into off-camber routes on an off-camber takeoff. You then have to gap onto the routes and then keep turning right. So to hit that off the brakes is unbelievable. And as George says, you've not done yourself justice. It's not a grass corner. It's one of the hardest corners on the circuit. So don't undersell yourself on that one.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was impressive riding. And just to recap, how do you think you managed to pull 3 seconds at the top of that track? As you've said, it's fairly one line. What went on there?
I think it's just something I had luckily like that because, as maybe you guys know, I share a lot of things with Amaury. And even since the first day, I just was faster. But I don't know how. I know something why, but I wouldn't say why. Yeah. I can't say why because, I need to keep something. But just, I'm fast because I'm fast on this part, luckily. Yeah. But, it's a mix of the bike, maybe me feeling better physically, getting experience and maybe loving this BMX part and pushing everywhere. I don't know.
I was just about to ask, based on you just saying loving this BMX part, the top of that track, I've had good splits up there once or twice, top 20 splits up there, and you are going so fast. When you got that split, can you remember back, were you having fun? Or were you behind the bars going, whoa, holy shit?
No, absolutely not. I was having so much fun.
Nice.
And and when you know exactly the track, you can see me going on some different lines than everybody. Even Amaury says, when you enter in the tree section before the jumps, you have the left, and then it's going slower. And before the left, I just double all the braking bands, and nobody has done it just because I was faster than everybody else and just doing. But it was so fun to do it. Even I do it during the training, but not properly. Yeah. And I was so much fun on the bike, feeling all the grip and feeling everything. And I was not ahead of my edge, I was just as I can, you know.
That lines up nicely with something Greg Minaz said to me before. I asked him at Leogang when we were doing an O'Neill shoot after the race. I said, when you're doing your timed runs like your quali run or your race run and you're pushing, I said, does it feel fast? Like, do you feel like you're like, oh, go. And he just looked at me and he went, no. He said, I always make fast, like just feel slow in my mind. And that ties in with what you've just said of when you are pushing to your maximum, you're still just having fun and relaxed and letting the bike do its thing. And yeah, riding stressed is always slower.
Yeah, okay. Exactly.
So post Leogang, you went to the French Cup at Les Arcs. You had a huge crash. You were airlifted off the track. You bit through 3/4 of your tongue and a number of injuries. What happened there?
Yeah, so it was a French Cup, feeling once again really fast on the track, even if I didn't do any qualification, but I had the GoPro and I compare, after the crash, I compare my training time with the quali ones, and I was already, now I can say I was faster, you know.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't do any race, you know, but, you know, I was in the timing, you know, I was fast during this race also. And there isn't one thing between two trees, you need to pull up one rock and go after a few roots on the floor.
Yeah.
I was, since the first day, I didn't feel that it was necessary to do it, or I didn't want to do it. And then, like, everybody was doing it, even some little guy which go fast, and in the youth category, I did okay. I'm going for it first run, and I know if this guy can do it, maybe I can, you know.
Yeah.
And no, it doesn't work. I was really too short and go over the bar and smash my head straight to the floor really bad.
Yeah.
And not that fast, you know, but sometimes when you are slow, it's worse than going fast.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it was pretty bad crash, really painful. Like, even thinking about it, it's really bad, you know.
One to forget. Okay. So, I mean, you obviously couldn't eat properly all week, but you came to Leger, which surprised most of us. Did you think you'd be racing when you arrived? And how much was the overall on your mind?
Yeah, so for sure the main thing was the overall. It was just to mark some points. And so when I went out of the hospital, I straight go to see my doctor at home. And when I saw him, he said, everything is fine. He's kind of fine.
Yeah.
You can race. It's just about you right now. So when you say that to me, I will race for sure.
Yeah.
So then I start the first few runs in Asia. I was feeling not good, but I can ride, you know. Then I take a big crash once again on my head, you know, at the beginning before the drop, you know, because I was trying to push, and if I was feeling bad, and then I didn't knew it, but my team, they talk together, not with me, you know, because they just let me see, and they want me to stop riding because I take this crash once again.
Yeah.
But they tell that to me 1 week ago. No, to be fair for you. And then quali, I just couldn't go fast because I was completely tired, you know. As I take not medication, but they give me I slept because they give me some things to sleep when they stitch everything, and I did a lot of things to trying to be good, physio and everything. I was so tired, no power anywhere, no power left. So during the quali, I just say, okay, I try to ride the fastest I can, but it was the fastest I can go, and then the 33, as you say. And then the day after, you know, I was feeling really, really good, like not good physically, but feeling good to go fast. And then suddenly start to rain, and I say, okay, it start to rain. Maybe I could mark some points if it start to rain more. But and then I did. I think if the weather was the same for everybody, I think it was once again a race to be top 10, top 5. I think, because, you know, even if I was bad, I was pushing and trying to ride fast. And sadly, I had a bit of luck with the weather, but at least my race run was really fast. So it's not like I did a bad run and I win, you know.
Yeah.
I was lucky, but I'm not like I knew I will be top 10 at least. So it wasn't just and you have some fast guy, like I don't remember the name, which came before me or after me, and they didn't do my time or even top 5. So,
For sure.
you know, it was not lucky, you know, it was maybe just, you know.
Definitely. After the week you'd had, how did that first win feel?
Strange, you know, I was really stoked, but at the same time, I didn't enjoy the win because after the race, I just went to my bed and sleep. Yeah, absolutely. I was completely done. And even the week after, done.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't enjoy it. I just enjoy it, but not too much.
No celebration.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. But, you know, you win a race. So sometimes some people are waiting all their life to that. And I did it. So I'm happy with that, you know.
You got all your life to celebrate that one for sure.
Yeah.
So personally, and I think most people in the sport will believe Aaron Gwynn is a little bit of a hero for the things he's done over the years on the bike. On this podcast, I talked about how I felt you were kind of in a position now where some of your race runs were like raising the bar like Aaron did in 2011, 2012. He said that you're the rider who he enjoys to watch most. When you leave the gate, he like taps his mate on the arm and says, "Oh, here we go." Did you feel you were doing something different, for example, in that Leogang run, or were you just riding the bike?
No, that's the thing, is that I was doing my things, and that works the best for me, you know. Yeah. Because when I'm not trying to do my things, I did what I did in Vali Höll. I crashed twice because I was just not me. It was not me. Like, it was me, but trying to think too much, trying to didn't take any risk because it was not my goal this year. Like, I have no goal this year, but when you came first after Maribor, you know, your goal is not maybe to win World Champs and risk your life to win that race, you know, because when you are 20 and you can potentially win the overall, you can take risk everywhere.
Yeah.
So no, when I'm the best is when I'm just me and doing my things, you know, not trying to go crazy. It's just because my riding style maybe is a bit on the edge sometimes, but I'm not on that much on the edge. Yeah. It's just because I'm maybe tight on the bike and pushing a lot, but when I'm on the bike, I'm not scary, you know.
Yeah. Cool.
And it's good that Aaron saying that because I'm a fan and I'm still a fan of him. A long time ago, and now with the years, you know, now it's my friend, so it's so cool that he can say that, and I'm talking with him every time, almost every race, and even between the race, so it's so cool.
Nice.
I love
Very
that
cool
relationship.
On to Maribor. I believe you were riding a data acquisition bike in practice, trying to squeeze every 10th out of the track. If you can remember, how much adjustment does the data tend to advise over the settings you were running previously?
Yes, Maribor, it's a track that I love. I did some good results in the junior, and I did also during the first elite year. And you know, we went before the race to the European Cup Championship.
Yeah.
So the plan was just to race the qualification, you know, because I need to keep my fire, you know, as Miriam would say. And I won the quali behind Loris, and we know he's a fast rider, so it was really good for me. So it was sad to didn't race the race day, but I was going into the World Cup like, okay, maybe it's my day again. So we gave everything we had with the bike, with my lines, with my speed. And it worked pretty well. And the second, Loris was really fast this day. And, you know, it was, I can't take too much risk this day. I couldn't have been really faster, maybe the same as Loris, but not faster, you know. But I cannot take, like, second was enough for me to mark some points for the overall. So sometimes for me now, you know, sometimes I prefer to be second than first and taking so much risk or trying to win for anything, you know. Yeah. I prefer being consistent.
Yeah. On the last episode, Loris said that yours and his and Loic's dad hang out quite a bit. Loic and Loris are a few years older than you. How does it feel to be up there at the sharp end with them now?
It's amazing, we were riding also together for years because we are in the same club in south of France, and we train with Loris. We have the same trainer. We go to the gym sometimes together, and we're going to the BMX together. So it doesn't change anything. We're not fighting, or we're just fighting the time. So it's just great. There is no rivalry between us and between anybody, I think. But for me, it's just the time. So
yeah,
it's cool, in this sport that we're not fighting. We are not like BMX or road bike or cycle. It's just the track and the time. So
yeah, you're racing the clock, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Loris is undoubtedly the king of Maribor of the last 2 years. I think you've just said there you may have got close to him with the time, but it would have been very difficult to beat him. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It would have been hard to beat him, but for sure, he he's loved this track because, he's pushing a lot. He's BMX style, a bit like me. And maybe when you like the track and you're fast, you're always faster on the track,
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Yeah, it was exciting to watch, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So, World Championships, Miriam said to us on the podcast that she was choosing to stay with your team, Commençant Mokov, rather than staying with the French squad. Did you do the same for the week?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because I did it once, Gino won, and I lost the race when I went with the French team. So don't want to miss one race for that again.
Yeah.
So all year we are with the team, and we are used to the food, to everything. So we didn't need to change what we did during the season just for one race. So no, we stay together. It's way better.
Yeah. And we were just going to ask you about the crashes. Obviously 2 crashes, and there was, I think you said after the race that you tried to use your head too much, and you've just that there. In hindsight, do you wish you'd gone to World Championships and just done your thing and been yourself, or are you happy with the decision to let Worlds go and focus on the overall?
I think to be honest, it was maybe better to do my things and go fast, because I wouldn't have crashed. Luckily, I was not injured this time, because sometimes you can crash and be injured like I am right now. Yeah. And so maybe the decision was better, maybe to go all in and not thinking too much.
Yeah.
And I crashed twice. The first one was just lose the traction on the corner, and the second one was because I lost my hand in the hole because I was too tired. So it was a very scary one. But sometimes it was also good to do that mistake during this race, because it's a special race. So right now I know what I had to change for next year. And
yeah, well, the reason I asked you that question is because the level you are and the age you are definitely going to be in that position again. They don't have World Championships at the end of the season anymore. They seem to always put it with a World Cup remaining. So hopefully you've learned some good lessons from that, and you can.
Yeah, absolutely. I've learned some lessons, and next year will be a goal for me to do well at this race.
Cool.
Lenzerheide, you seeded 5th and finished 3rd, and I messaged you the night before the race, I think, and I asked, are you going to play it safe or are you going for the win? And can you remember what you messaged back?
Yeah, maybe I say all in. Full
gas. Yeah. You and Amaury, you're just so raw, so flat out. This full gas style. How much of an influence on your riding is he?
He's a big one because, I know him before we joined the team, because we have a common friend,
Yeah.
So I know him since he's in junior category, even if I was really young,
Yeah.
And then now we are in the same team for the past 4 years. And the first few years was, I was junior. I was was not the same relationship with him, because I was still young and maybe not in a good, I learned a lot the past few years. And right now, he's a big part of being fast, because, on some part of the track, he's the fastest in the world, you can't be as fast as him on some corners, on some parts, you know. Even me, you know, sometimes it's really impressive. So yeah, it helps me a lot because where I'm fast, he's slow, and where he's fast, I'm slow, to be fair.
Right.
So we help us a lot together, and he helped me a lot. Indirectly, he helped me a lot. And we push a lot together during the training camp, and now we share everything on the bike, on the track, and we even sleep together. So, so it's funny, you know. I think it's crazy, you know, to have this relationship in the team and to have two riders like that. But we love that, and we love each other also.
That's cool.
Not love, we like, it's not because we're sleeping together.
I understand what you mean. I'm sure listeners do as well.
With him being the lead rider on the team, probably, but having had some pretty nasty injuries the last 2 years, have you felt any extra pressure to carry the team?
No, absolutely not, because we are in a great team, and they didn't put any pressure on us, and they know I'm young, so I can't be like that the fastest one in the world. So they let me take the time I have. Even they knew I don't want to take the time, you know. They know I want to be the fastest as quick as I can, and they know I'm working a lot, so that's why they just let me. They're not like, oh, go for it, you need to be on. No. I know I need to mark points for the team, because I learned that from junior years, you know, when I crashed, instead of just trying to ride and be on the podium, you know. And no, it's amazing, because they know what it is to win. They know what it takes to be on the podium, and that's why they didn't push any pressure on us, because they know it's better to do our own thing. And we discussed after the race what was good or what was bad.
Cool. So after Lenzerheide, at this point, we'd had 4 World Cups, and you'd not been out of the top 3. You were over 250 points ahead in the overall. On this podcast, Greg agreed that he thought it was your title to lose going into Snowshoe. Is that when the pressure really started, or did the pressure not change?
I don't know. I didn't feel the pressure, but indirectly the pressure was there, and I think I started maybe to lose a bit of. It started at Vali Höll, you know, where I was not good, and there, we're going to Snowshoe. I wanted to go full gas and trying to be fast, you know, didn't think about the overall, but at the end I was thinking about it too much, to be fair.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you're 20 and it's the first time you're in this position, it's hard to do everything. So,
sure.
It's like that.
Did you have lots of conversations with Thibaut and the team about how to play Snowshoe? Was there a strategy?
No, there were no strategy. Maybe we need to have put one, but no, the strategy was just marking points the 2 first round and grab the overall before the last race. My plan was that. And then last round, just go full in and try to win another race.
Yeah.
But sadly, was not my time.
Yeah, for sure. We believe you work quite a bit with Nico Vullios as a bit of a mentor. Did you talk to him at any point during the season?
Yeah, I chat with him a bit, you know. Right now we're not that much together because he's with Lapierre and with the e-bike team and enduro. So we didn't have that much time to talk together. But maybe I should have talked more with him during World Champs because he's fast on those ones. But you know, I did some mistakes again this year, as I did every year. But it's getting better. So I prefer doing this mistake right now than in 5 years. So it's not too bad, you know.
Yeah. So Snowshoe, quali for race 1, crash number 1, race 1, crash number 2. The front wheel exploded. Let's chat about that one a little bit. Did you flat coming into that section, or was it all one impact?
No, one impact and the wheel broke.
Yeah. Are you guys running particularly low pressures, or does that happen a lot? Do you go through a few carbon rims?
Just being unlucky. No, we didn't broke so much rims. Yeah. So it was just bad luck at the wrong place because I could have died also on this one.
Yeah. Well, quali for race 2, crash number 3, third time unlucky, a broken thumb and an open fracture to your right fibula. you jumped up onto your feet from the crash, and it looked like you were okay. How quickly did you know it was over?
15 minutes after. I didn't knew it right directly. I knew it was bad for the thumb.
Yeah.
And for the ankle, I didn't knew. But then I touched it and I knew it was bad at this time, but it was, a good 10 minutes after.
So you were telling me before we started the call, you were telling me that you actually jumped on your bike and tried to ride down.
Yeah, absolutely. Aaron bring my bike, Aaron Green, he was there.
Yeah.
He just helped me with my bike. He bring me to the old track and I'd say, ask him where I should go to go down. And he showed me the track and I tried to go down, I went down for a few meters and then it was too painful and I just stopped in the wood and lay down and the boss Thibaut came to help me and we called the medicine, but sadly they just bring me down with a quad in the old trailer. It was crazy. Like, I hope they will try to make it better because if I had something in my back, I would have been dying. Jeez. I was still maybe there die. It was a really bad organization, I'm really angry for that because if sadly I had something like worse than that, it could have been really bad for my life, for my career,
Yeah, for sure.
I'm angry for the organization, for the guys at the OCI and everything. It's just so shit,
Yeah,
and it's not the first time that it happened, You can see Brooks sadly can have been wrong and they need to work a lot on the World Cups, There is a lot of work. And even on the track, I crashed because the track on the side was not clean.
Yeah.
It was my mistake that I lost the front wheel, but then I ran a bit too much on the right and the rock was moving and was like that in the side. And the team tell to the guys which work on the track to remove it the day before because they say it was dangerous, and not just the team, not just our team. A lot of people see it. And some other guys crashed at the same place and the same things, and they didn't remove it. Maybe I would be not in this position if they removed it and clean a bit the side of the track, So it's sad that the sport is at this point right now.
Yeah, you're dead right. I think some people will hear us talking about, rocks on the track and things like that, and hear you saying it needs to be removed and the track be cleaned, and they will think, what's he talking about? It's downhill. But they haven't seen that track. It's like took a wall, pushed it over, and then we ride down the wall. And it doesn't need to be dangerous. And as you said, rocks sticking up like this, and there's features in there that are just simply dangerous. They don't need to be there, and I completely agree with you.
And even the side, you can see some trees everywhere. They're like trees, and they're like some trees cut it and just put it 2 meters next to the tape. And just that they need to be 5 meters on each side of the track completely clean. You can see in MotoGP when they crash at 300 kilometers, they didn't hurt themselves.
Yeah.
And we going on a bike with less protection in 50 or 60 kilometers per hour on some parts in rocks. And when we crash, we can die because of that, So it's a point that every rider need to maybe tell the UCI and make it going further, because when you didn't happen to you, you say, oh, it's okay, we'll be good. Like, don't try to be sad with that. But when it happens one to you, you're like, okay, I know why some other riders are complaining about that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Okay, so you crashed Friday, opposite operation Friday afternoon. And then you were back for the overall podium on Saturday. Was that a bit of a lift up for you?
Yeah. I haven't been operated Friday afternoon, Friday night.
Okay.
And was late. And then, I didn't sleep the night at all, almost, just some nap. And then, in the morning, I say, guys, I need to leave at 2 p.m. I have a podium at 4, so let me go out. And as you pay in USA, they did what you want. So they just try everything they can to let me go out because I need some antibiotics, in my body. So when the last portion of antibiotics go in, they say, okay, you're ready to go. My dad and my mother helped me with the paper in France to go out quickly. And we did a bit of a rally to go to the podium because the podium was 1 hour away from the hospital.
Oh,
And it was amazing to be at the podium, because it's not maybe every year that you can be in second in the overall with missing 2 races. So it was amazing. Even if I was really tired at this time and almost I was really tired and almost losing my head because I had so much. I had the anesthesia inside. I was like, my head was a bit. I was almost sleeping in the podium, but was amazing. Seeing everybody cheering my name on the podium, even if I was second, it was something amazing for me. So,
sure.
Yeah, good memories for sure.
Nice. So the dust has settled now. We're a few days after Snowshoe. You mentioned before that maybe you would have a plan in future for that situation. Would you have played it differently, or are you happy you just went into it going, yeah, full gas?
I would have played maybe the same, but different in the approach. I was going full gas absolutely, because when you check my times, my splits, even I didn't went to the bottom, my splits were once again in the top 5.
Yeah,
and just the first one, I didn't cross the first split, the first qualification, because I was pushing already a lot for the first corners. But when you see the race run of the other one and the quality of the other one also, I was in the top 5 and maybe better, because I was gaining time in the rock section during the first race. So yeah, sadly I was not able to do that, but experience.
Yeah. Can I just ask you, this is just me being curious, if you were to do an 85% or a 90% Thibaut run, where do you think that would come in the race? Where would that place you?
I don't know, because I can't ride at 90%, because if I ride slowly, as I try to do it in practice, I'm making more mistakes than if I ride fast. So when I'm riding 90% is because I do it in quali sometimes when I didn't pedal at all. Like I'm pushing in technical section, just sometimes I didn't even pedal in sitting run or qualification, and that's why I'm a bit far away, but I know where I can gain some time. So when I'm 90% because I didn't pedal, but I push in technical parts.
I see. So obviously not the best end to the season, with Miriam losing a grip on the overall as well, but an amazing season over for the team. You were the number 1 team, Miriam world champion and second overall, you with your first win and second in the overall, and a Maori back on the podium. What's the mood in the camp like now?
By going to try to win the overall in elite and in the elite women, and mark some big points for the team, and still, because now it's been almost 4 years that we are number 1 team.
Yeah.
So we try to keep that, because we are the best team for sure. Yeah. So I hope it will continue, and we keep working a lot. And not me yet, because I can't be on the bike for the next 2 months maybe, but they will work for me during this time, and then I will be back and we will work again together.
Well, I believe you're in physio already, and you just said it's a couple of months before you're back on the bike. What does the rest of the off season look like for you?
I don't know yet. I will know that maybe today, because I'm going to see my doctor.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe 4 weeks with the, how do you call the plâtre? The
cast. Yeah.
The cast, sorry. So with the cast, and then the same of physio. And I will be back on the bike, not the quickest I can, but just when the foot will be 100 ready, because I'm not really hurried to be back on the bike.
Yeah.
I just want to be back when I will be fully ready and know I can crash again and everything. So I will take some time. I'm not hurried for that.
Cool. Well, thanks very much for making the time to come on the pod and chat. There's some difficult questions there, but some really insightful answers. So thank you very much for that. Best of luck for next season. I'm sure I'm not the only one who can't wait to see you riding again. In fact, I know that because there were some comments on Pink Bike, and they were trying to give you some kind of People's Champion award for this season, because everyone was, I think, you were the standout rider this season. So good skills. Thank
you very much. And thank you for having me in this post. I like it. So it's cool. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Thibaut. Jack, that's the 2021 World Cup season done and dusted. What's next for you? Feet up on the sun lounges for a couple of weeks?
Unfortunately not, George. We've got the Casus British National race this weekend. So
we have indeed.
Yeah, once we finish this, I've got to get the van loaded and get everything ready and get down there. And then next week we've got the EWS in Leithen, which I'm feeling pretty indifferent about at the moment with everything that's gone on. But yeah, so a couple of weeks of racing left.
We've got there's another national after that, isn't there?
I'm not sure if I'm going to go. I vowed I'd never go to Stiniog again in 2015. So
I can assure you the track that last year, the track that we're racing, because they put a video up last night of it, I went last summer and it was my favourite track anywhere in the UK.
They've done a lot of changes then.
Yeah, it's onto the black repowder. They've put this new section in that was absolutely amazing.
Right, okay. For me, it'll depend on the weather, because if it's windy and rainy, there's no trees, I'm just not interested. And it'll also depend on if I'm doing any coaching down there at the race with any of the athletes I coach. So, yeah, not sure about Stiniog, maybe. But then for sure from the middle of October, just need to get properly into my rehab and have a little rest off the bike and, do some work and, keep my head down.
Well, I'll see you at Casus tomorrow. I'm not coming till Saturday morning, but I will see you there. Thanks very much to the sponsors of the show: Hope Technology, JTech Suspension, Revolution Bike Park, Ride Southern Spain, Schwalbe, and SingleTrackWorld.com. If you're enjoying the podcast, please subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And if you've got a sec, please drop us a review. Alternatively, please give us a follow on Instagram at Making Up the Numbers Racing or Facebook.com/Making Up the Numbers.